श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज निज मनु मुकुर सुधारी बरनौ रघुबर बिमल जसु जो दायक फलचारी बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरौ पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेश विकार। जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीस तिहु लोक उजागर। रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा। महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी। कंचन बरन विराज सुबेसा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा। हाथ वज्र और ध्वजा विराजे कांधे मूंज जनेऊ साजे। शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन। विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबे को आतुर। प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया। सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा। भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे रामचंद्र के काज संहारे। लाय सजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुवीर हर्षि उर लाए। रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बढ़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरतहि सम भाई। सहस बदन तुमरो जस गावे अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे। सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा नारद सारद सहित अहिसा। जम कुबेर दिगपाल जहाते कवि कोविद कहि सके कहाते। तुम उपकार सुग्रीवहि कीना राम मिलाय राजपद दीना। तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना। सहस्र जो जन पर भानु लील्यो ताहि मधुर फल जानु। प्रभु मुद्रिका मेलि मुख माहि जलधि लांघि गए अचरज नाहि। दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हरे तेते। राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे। सब मंगल मूर्ति रूप राम लखन सीता सहित हृदय बसहु सुर भूप सियावर रामचंद्र की जय। पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। उमापति महादेव की जय। बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय। श्री सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। सब सुख लहै तुम्हारी सरना, तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना. This was the Chaupayi we had discussed in the last session. Devotee is the one, because of his Sharanagati, surrender to the Lord. Nothing looks to be out of place as far as his own life is concerned for that devotee. Sab sukha lahai. Difficulties also look as Sukham. Sukham also looks at. Sukham also doesn't excite him too much. Another way to look at this verse is equanimity as far as life experiences are concerned. Now, what is the contribution of devotion in equanimity? You see, the contribution of devotion is devotee appreciates or understands situations are coming, no doubt. They are coming, they are going away. I have no control either to stop it from coming, nor to hold it back from going away. Paristhiti, that is one nature. It will come with force without asking. It will leave away without taking our permission. But devotee knows the one who is sending it. That is my Bhagwan whom I have surrendered. And because he is one who thinks about everybody's well-being, hitam, hitachintaka, he will never send anything without a purpose. With that mindset, whenever a devotee encounters even a difficult situation, there his bhavana is, there his mindset is, why Bhagwan has sent this? What could be the reason because of which Bhagwan has sent this in front? Swami Akhandanand Ji, he would give an example for this, of how devotion can bring about acceptance in life. His guru's name was Udiya Babaji, and he was a very rustic saint. Means his style of teaching was very different. So they would go to meet Udiya Babaji, and all of them would live in a dharmashala. When Maharaj Ji, Swami Akhandanand Ji would go to meet him, they would all brahmacharis, swamins, they would live in dharmashala. Maharaj Ji was a swami by then, sannyasi. And blanket, there would be one blanket given to everybody, and sometimes biting cold. That's the only thing you have to use to protect yourself from that cold. And Udiya Babaji had a habit. He would come at night, he would see all the students sleeping. If any blanket had a hole, he would put his finger and tear it. And morning they would wake up and suddenly see that blanket is torn. First thing is, who tore it? They would look at the neighbor. Did you tear it? He said, no, mine is also torn. Who tore it? Then somebody would come and say, Udiya Baba had come at night and he did this. Maharaji would say, the moment he heard his guru's name, my guru came and tore my blanket. He said, all the anger melted away. Meaning what? Out of so many people who are there, my guru's attention was on me. He says, like this, there are some situations which are like the torn blanket. When some dukkham or some situation, we don't know why it has come. But he says, if we can shift attention to the one who has sent, then something new will open up. In fact, that is a true test of devotion. Huh? If Shishya gets angry at Guru because he tore his blanket, then his Shishyatva is questionable. What kind of surrender? What are the expectations? सब सुख लहे तुम्हारी सरना, तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना. Next two, let us chant together. 23 we did not see, right? आपन तेज संहारो वापे, तीनों लोक हांकते कापे, भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे, महावीर जब नाम सुनावे, श्री राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय जय राम. Who is Hanuman Ji? Hanuman Ji is the one who has so much of Teja, so much brilliance, that only he can manage his brilliance. You know, it is said, Gayatri Mantra, the power of Gayatri Mantra had to be brought down by 3 different rishis, because it was so powerful that the one doing it could not handle the power of that Gayatri Mantra. Understand it in the right context, the word I am going to use. That mantra is also called as Shrapita Mantra. Shrapita Mantra means one whose power has been curbed. Shrapa means not that Shrapa. The one who was so powerful, like Hanumanji's power had to be curbed, like that Gayatri Mantra's power had to be curbed. That is Hanumanji's brilliance. Apana Teja samharo ape. You only can handle your Teja, nobody else can do anything about it. Tino loka hankate kape. All the 3 worlds tremble hearing your name. One visit to Lanka was sufficient to build fear in Lankavasis for all monkeys. Not only Hanumanji. So whichever monkey went to Lanka, all of them remembered the destruction that one Hanumanji had done. It is said when Angadji goes, people show him way to Ravana's palace without asking. They say maybe the same monkey has come back, not to get into any conflict, no discussions. But the question we should ask here is, how does Teja come? Apana Teja samharo ape. Teja means brilliance. Brilliance not only at physical body level, brilliance at mind level, emotions level, and intellect level also. How does that Teja come? Goswamiji writes in Uttarakanda, Teja comes through tapasya. Whenever we hold back the mind from being impulsive, that practice of tapasya brings Teja. It could be a simple thing like holding back the speech from doing whatever it would like to do. That is tapasya at speech level. Tapasya at body level, Bhagavan says, cleanliness. Deva Dvija Guru Prajna, Pujanam Shaucham Arjavam. Reverential attitude towards respectable people. And straightforwardness. He says these are not natural as far as physical body is concerned. The one who puts forth effort to maintain cleanliness, to have this straightforwardness, that tapasya will bring Teja. Tapasya at mind level was keeping a pleasant mind. Even if mind is agitated, mind is disturbed, not allowing it to trickle down in Vyavahara. That is Lord Shiva's poison. Nilakantha doesn't allow it to go inside, doesn't allow it to go outside. That tapasya is called as tapasya at mind level. Gurudev writes in one place, I think I had shared this earlier also, if somebody shouts at you and you shout back, he says that is natural. There is no tapasya needed to shout back. But if somebody shouts at you and you respond in a calm way, he says that is spiritual. It is not natural. He says that is spiritual, that is cultural. Cultural means that mind has been cultured to respond in this way. He says whoever lives a life of that tapasya, that person will have Teja. Any value for that matter, if a person is able to uncompromisingly hold on to. Our scriptures say that brings Teja in that person's personality. There is one incident in Mahatma Gandhiji's life. When he goes to the British Parliament, there is standing orders for everybody not to stand up. They say he'll come, nobody should stand. And when Gandhiji enters, the one who had given this order stands up first. That is their Teja. Holding on to one value uncompromisingly, which needs tapasya. Mind by itself doesn't want to do many things. But this person has succeeded in bringing that mind, taming that mind, and making it do what he wants it to do. That itself is tapasya. Tino loka hankate kape, that all three worlds tremble hearing Hanumanji's name. Means for a tapasvi, he doesn't have to worry about anything. One Mahatma Ji, he would say, if somebody is wanting to criticize the sun, so what will sun lose from this person's criticism? Even if he takes a glass of water, throws it with anger to the sun, he says that water has to fall on him only. Like that it is said, a tapasvi's life becomes shielded by the world outside. So much so that no harm can come whatsoever. That is their Teja, that is what is well known in all the three worlds. Next one is very interesting, especially if children ask you questions about ghosts. Bhuta pisacha nikata nahi aave. Hanumanji's blessing is such, if you do the second line, Mahabira jaba nama sunave, moment you keep taking Hanumanji's name, do japa, none of these evil spirits can come close to that person. But when you say this Chaupayi, the question they will ask is, are there ghosts? You said they will not come close. First tell me whether they are there or not. In Vedanta we say there are three shariras, three bodies. Okay, before we go into that, if they ask you this question, you can say, there are no ghosts. Confidently say that. Tell them to take Bhagwan's name. None of those things will come close to them. In Vedanta we say there are three bodies. One is physical body, another is subtle body, third one is causal body. Physical body or gross body, subtle body, causal body. Sthula sharira, Sukshma sharira, Karana sharira. Now, if somebody has, based on whatever karmas they have done, according to that, next body is available. With this particular body, whatever actions were done, there is a silent photographer who takes picture of all our thoughts, all our actions. Chitragupta. Gupta means silent. Chitra means who takes a picture. All our actions, thoughts are recorded. Based on that, next sharira is available. Now if somebody has done a lot of erroneous actions, whatever erroneous actions you can think about, somebody has done. It is said the transfer, the switch into the next Sharira is more prolonged. When this Jiva has causal body, has subtle body, but has not found a gross body yet. That Yoni is called as Preta Yoni. This is given in Srimad Bhagavatam, the story of Dundukari. He does whatever wrong things anybody can imagine under the sun. Everything he does, an elaborate description is given, what all things he has done. Then finally, his end is also not so great, goes to the Preta Yoni. Gokarna Ji, his brother, is a great devotee of the Lord. He comes one day home from Tirtha Yatra and he sees all this, strange things around. Okay, let me quiz you with some Vedanta questions now. Jnanendriyas, organs of sense, organs of perception, belong to gross body or subtle body? Subtle body. Karmendriyas, organ of action, belongs to gross body or subtle body? Karmendriyas. Karmendriyas belong to subtle body. Gross body is only Sharira. Gross body is only Sharira. Prana and Karmendriya, both of them are subtle body. Okay, now one more question. Hunger and thirst belongs to gross body or subtle body? Subtle body. Very good. Because they are dharma of prana. Hunger and thirst belong to prana. The way to quench that thirst, satisfy that hunger, happens through physical body. Now imagine there is a jiva that is having causal body, having subtle body, but no gross body. Hunger and thirst will be there or not? Hunger and thirst is there, but no ways to fulfill it. That is why that yoni is not so great. Karmendriya, organ of speech, belongs to which body? Gross body or subtle body? Subtle body. Subtle body. Desire to speak is there. Words are also coming, but no speech. So Gokarna Ji, out of his tapasya, gives Vagendriya, gives the organ of speech to his brother Dundukari, and then he tells, this is my condition right now. What should I do? Do something. Then Gokarna Ji does Bhagavad Saptaha, and this Dundukari, who had done all those erroneous things, he sits inside a bamboo and listens to Bhagavatam. Every day one knot opens up, 7 days, 7 knots of the bamboo. 7th day, Vimana comes from Vaikunta Loka. For how many people? Only for Dundukari. Only for Dundukari. Then Gokarna Ji asks, I did Bhagavad Katha, everybody listened, how come this Dundukari is getting ticket to Vaikunta? Then Bhagavan says, everybody listened, but their intensity while listening was not the same. They were more worried about the food after. And he says, everybody listened, but not everybody did mananam. Mananam means reflection was not done after it. That is why in later part, the Bhagavatam Saptaha Vidhi is given. There it is said how we should organize Saptaha. Everything is given in detail. It is said because 4 hours you should sit in one place, don't eat and drink too much, because you'll have to get up in between, otherwise be very moderate. That much detail is given. How to send invitation to people, that is also written. But anyway, our point here is, what is Preta Yoni? Dundukari, who went into this Preta Yoni, that is how this Preta Yoni is defined according to Vedanta. No Sthula Sharira, Sukshma and Karana Sharira is there. There is a story in the life of Madhusudana Saraswati Ji. He was a great scholar of Vedanta. And one day he thinks, I should do Bhagwan Krishna's Nama Japa and do Purascharana. Purascharana means several million times I have to repeat. That will bring a particular result. So he goes and starts doing it, Purascharana, Bhagwan Krishna's name. But in between some thought comes. He says, I am a Vedantin. Why did I take up this sadhana in between? Saguna sadhana I took up. Why did I take it? So he drops it in between, starts walking towards his village. On the way, he meets a cobbler. That cobbler had been instructed by a Preta. Go and tell Swamiji, keep doing, don't stop. Cobbler says, keep doing what? He says, you don't worry, just go and tell him, Swamiji, keep doing, don't stop. This cobbler, he goes to Madhusudana Saraswati Ji and says, Swamiji, keep doing, don't stop. Swamiji wonders, how did you know that I was doing Purascharana and I dropped it? Who told you this? He said, there is one Preta who told me to give this message. Madhusudana Saraswati Ji says, why don't you tell that Preta to come and tell me directly? Why should he send this message through you? He said, I don't know, I'll go and ask. So he again goes and asks this Preta, why don't you go and tell him? That Preta says, before Bhagwan Krishna's Purascharanam, he has already done Gayatri Purascharanam. And that Gayatri power is such, I cannot go close to him. That is this verse, Bhuta Pisacha Nikata Nahi Aave. Any mantra japa, whenever a sadhaka does, none of these things can bother that sadhaka. Pujya Guru Ji used to share one anecdote for this particular Chaupayi. He said when Guru Ji was traveling before, one of our residential schools Guru Ji went to. Residential school means children live, parents are in a different place, they live on the campus and so on. So one teacher brought a small girl to Guru Ji and she said, Guru Ji, she has difficulty sleeping. Something at night wakes her up, unable to sleep at night. What should we do? Guruji looked at her, gave her a simple sadhana. He said, before sleeping every day, wash your feet, wash your hands, and repeat this mantra. All of you will repeat after me. Mangala Murati, Maruta Nandana, Sakala Amangala, Moolani Kandana. Mangala Murati, Maruta Nandana, Sakala Amangala, Moolani Kandana. Hanuman Ji, who is the embodiment of all auspiciousness, may he remove any kind of inauspiciousness from our life. He says, this you repeat, do one round of Mala Japa before going to bed. And Guruji said he got this idea from Vishnu Sahasranama. One of Bhagwan's name is Punyo Dusswapna Nashanaha. Dusswapna means bad dreams. One whose name when we take, all bad dreams get destroyed. So then Guruji traveled different places and 2 years after he went to the same place and he remembers whom he had met, what he had said whom. And he called the teacher and said, how is the girl? The teacher said, Guruji, not only she is doing very, very well, I have started doing japa. Because that sadhana is so powerful, so effective, it has to bring the result. Bhuta pisacha nikata nahi aave, mahabira japa nama sunave. Sometimes people have these stories they like to share. There is a house, it's a haunted house. Somebody went to Gurudev, he was supposed to stay in one house. He said, Gurudev, that is, there is a bhuta living in that house. He said, don't worry, that is bhuta, I am Pancha Mahabhuta. Nothing can come close, you don't worry. The next day morning, he stayed in that house, so-called haunted house. Next day, people were having so much of eagerness, Jijnasa. Did you see him? What happened yesterday? Whole night you were there. Anything happened? Gurudev said, yes, ghost came and he ran away. Then how did he run away? I asked for donation. He said, you are starting a new project. Please join. No bhuta will come. Bhuta pisacha nikata nahi aave, Mahabhira japa nama sunave. The main essence of this verse is our sadhana should have balam. Sadhana should have power, where the sadhaka can say, if I have taken shelter in the Lord, none of these things can come close to me. Any mantra that speaks to us, that we should hold on to. This is just one of it. Mangala Murati Marutanandana Sakala Amangala Mula Nikandana. If a Mahatma has shared it, then we have to make a note of it. Next one is again a very beautiful Chaupayi. How does Hanumanji's grace function on a sadhaka? Nase roga hare sab pira, japat nirantar hanumat bira. Nase roga hare sab pira, जपत निरंतर हनुमत बीरा. श्री राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय जय राम. My run rate has to increase now because we have 3 sessions. Nase roga hare sab pira. Second line is in our hand. First line is in Hanumanji's hand. What is our duty? Japata nirantara hanumata bira. The one who is constantly, nirantara, keeping their mind, merging their mind in Hanumanji, surrendering unto him, doing his nama japa. What does Hanumanji do? If there are any afflictions at physical body level, nasai roga, that affliction he removes. Hare sabapira, any kind of affliction coming from any disease, that is removed by the grace of Hanumanji. That sadhaka will never feel, I am going through a difficult time. Other people might have so many opinions about what he is going through. But in the eyes of that sadhaka, first line will happen. Nasai roga hare saba pira. That is the beauty of devotion to Hanumanji. Whenever we hear this Chaupayi, some might get many questions. Is it written just out of faith? Is it written out of some kind of adoration to Hanumanji? Is it some glorification? It is said, if you want to know the value of 1 year, you have to ask somebody who has not cleared an exam. Generally we feel years come and go, but ask somebody who has not cleared an exam to know the value of 1 year. If you want to know value of 1 day, you have to ask somebody who is born on February 29th. 1 day is that. Want to know the value of 1 minute, you have to ask somebody who has missed a train. Want to know the value of 1 millisecond, ask somebody who has won a silver medal. any Olympics, wherever it is. That is it, no more. That is how it is said, if you want to know the value of grace of God, ask somebody who has regained health. Because see, this Chaupayi to appreciate, it needs lot of anubhava. Nasai roga, harai saba pira. If you read the book by Pujya Swamiji, Swami Swarupanand, Journey into Health, a very beautiful book, talks about Swamiji's journey on this Chaupayi. Nasai roga harai saba pira, japata nirantara hanumata pira. How that grace can bring a sadhaka out from difficulties. So literally also, if you want to take it, that is how it will be. Means Hanumanji's grace is powerful to remove any kind of afflictions at physical body level. All it demands is chanting with that kind of devotion. In Vedas, there are so many results which are mentioned. If you do one yajna, rain comes. If you do another thing, some other result you get. So one day our Karpati Ji Maharaj and Udiya Babaji, they were having a discussion. Two great Mahatmas who believed in Vedas, had Dharma as their main teaching. They said, why is it in today's world, these results are not seen the way they should be seen? They say if you do a yajna, rain has to come. Why is it we don't see such kind of result in Kali Yuga? The final thing, this was printed in one Kalyan article. Gita Press publishes a magazine called Kalyan. So there he writes at the very end, he says in Kali Yuga, lot of it depends on the performer also. Means with what bhavana they have performed, with what disciplines they are living their life. If you are not seeing the result, don't just blame the action. What depends is, what plays a major role is, how is the person who is doing that action. In Ramcharitmanas, during Bhagwan's Vivaha Prasanga, Dasharath Maharaj is sitting on one side, Janak Maharaj is sitting on another side to do some yajna. Goswamiji writes there, if two great people like Dasharath Maharaj and Janak Maharaj are doing this yajna, before the Purnahuti, results are already attained. When their Punya Karma is such, their life is so divine, results will come before that Purnahuti. The main point here is, whenever we doubt the first line, Nasai roga harai saba pira, can it happen? What we should question is, are we doing the second line sincerely? Japata nirantara hanumata pira. That onus is on us. When that happens, Bhagwan says, see whether the first line works or not. Now the implied meaning of this is, Nasai roga can also refer to avidya. Goswamiji writes in Ramcharitmanas, the greatest roga is delusion, moha. So the symptom is moha. The main cause for that is ignorance. So Hanumanji's grace is such, it will bring teaching in our life, it will remove the ignorance about our own true nature. Ignorance about world also, what I should do, what I should not do. That also will go away with their grace. But the final thing which has to be removed is this avidya. Both levels we can understand it. 26, 27 together. Sankat te Hanuman chudave, मन क्रम बचन ध्यान जो लावे, सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा, तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा, श्री राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय जय राम. all Chaupayis are having the same theme now. Huh? Second line is our responsibility. First line is Hanumanji's responsibility. First, let us read our responsibility. Mana krama bachana dhyana jo lave. The one who is putting his mind, mana, action, and vachana, speech, in Hanuman Ji, means meditating upon the Lord, living his life as a devotee. How to put action in Hanuman Ji? Action in Hanuman Ji means all the transaction should be as a devotee. And speech should be such which reflects values. When we say bhajan, bhajan does not always mean with instruments. That is one form of bhajan. Living a dharmic life, that itself is doing bhajan of Bhagwan. Bhaja dhatu, one meaning is seva. Means if somebody says, I am doing bhajan of Bhagwan, what is the meaning of that? I am doing seva of Bhagwan. So one form of seva is by living a life that would please the Lord. What will please Bhagwan is values. So that who is doing mana krama bachana dhyana jo lave, putting their mind in Hanuman Ji, meditating upon Bhagwan, what happens to them? Sankat te Hanuman chudave. Hanuman Ji saves them from all kinds of sankat. You know, sankat is a very relative word. If a situation comes in front of me and I don't have the ability to face that situation, rather, imagine there is a seesaw. One side is situation, paristhiti, another side is my ability. If that situation is overpowering, I fall short of my ability to meet it. That is called as sankat. For example, let us say I don't know to cook. Now if that person, if he doesn't know to cook, if he ends up in a situation where he has to cook, that will be sankat. Situation is there, ability is not matching. On the other hand, if somebody loves to cook, telling that person not to cook is a sankat. So same situation doesn't become sankat for everybody. Then the sadhaka says, what is the option now? Situation cannot change. He says, Bhagwan, either you give me your ability to increase my ability and face the situation, or you take this situation and solve it yourself. Both are possible. Huh? Second one is more of a devotee's mindset. He says, Bhagwan, I know there are so many situations I have tried to solve. But no matter how hard you try to solve, we complicate it even more. There this devotee says, you take care. Other side is, give me your ability to solve this problem. Guruji puts it in a different way. He says, Jiva is somebody who has lot of problems, but limited ability. Bhagwan is somebody who has lot of abilities, but no problem. Have you seen Bhagwan Krishna having problems and seeking help from somebody? Even if he does, it's only Leela. By himself he is Sarva Samartha, doesn't need anybody's help. So what are the options we have? Either seek ability from God or give our problems to God. Both ways, he says, accomplish this result. Sankatate Hanumana Chudave. The second one needs lot of faith. To keep things at Bhagwan's feet and to say, I will do what I can, but real solution will come from you. That needs lot of faith. And it is said, Mahatmas, they give a metaphor. What does his faith look like? If there is a tree which is very tall, when a storm comes, it actually doesn't matter how tall the tree is. Which are the trees that get uprooted the first? Not necessarily with the external height, the ones that have shallow roots. There can be a tree which is externally looking very short, but deeps are very well rooted. Roots are very deep. It says that depth of root is our faith. Whatever Shraddha we have, whichever situation it is, one who will get uprooted in that situation is the one who lacks faith. One who is having this faith, that person will be protected. Manakarma bachana dhyana jo lave. Sabapara Rama tapasvi raja. Hanuman Ji is the sevaka of Bhagwan Rama, who is the king of everybody. Sabapara Rama Raja. But what kind of king he is? Tapasvi Raja. Means if somebody wants to be a king, that person cannot afford to be indulgent. One of the main quality of a leader or a king is tapasya. Now, how will you translate tapasya in a simpler term? Simple word for tapasya in this context is self-discipline. Self-discipline, that is the tapasya with which he administers his duties as a king. Minus that, it will not take much time for this king to fall down. Because enemies will attack through those indulgences only. Similarly, for a sadhaka, if tapasya is lacking, means self-discipline is lacking, it's only a matter of time. Sadhaka himself will feel that things are falling apart. Now the question becomes, if self-discipline is something we should have, where will we find it? It would be nice, right, if you can just go and purchase some self-discipline. Put it in our routine, it will start working. He says the best way to bring about self-discipline is to live in an environment where this discipline is practiced. If you have stayed in any ashram, gone to any of retreats, any camps, we feel our day is so productive. What brings about that productivity? See, we are living with a group of people who are having that same goal. So once in a while, whoever is interested in becoming a tapasvi has to take time off. Go to a place, live in that discipline, and that is one way to train this mind. See, whenever we have withdrawn ourselves from anything, although that process of withdrawing was painful. Let us say tomorrow you decide, I'm going to join the, what do they call it? 4 a.m. club. They write these self-help books, right? Join the 4 a.m. club. What are the different things you can do? Now, to make sankalpa is very good. But that morning struggle that comes, with whatever that goal we have set, I said that struggle is very, very difficult. But thing to appreciate there is the joy that comes after we are able to hold on to it. See, Western psychology sometimes says, if you push your mind too hard, that is called a suppression. Eastern philosophy says, it will be a suppression only if your internal conviction doesn't align with your outer action. Means internally, you don't want to be self-disciplined. You feel there is no point in being self-disciplined. And externally, somebody is making you do it. That is when there will be suppression. On the other hand, internally, if you want to be self-disciplined, then external so-called suppression will become sublimation. That sadhaka will be having lot of joy in life just by this self-discipline. Bhagavad Gita, 6th chapter. Yuktahara viharasya, yukta karmasya, yukta cheshtasya karmasu, yukta swapnava bodhasya. Last quarter is very important. Yogo bhavati dukkhaha. Bhagwan says if we can bring this self-discipline in our life, that routine itself will remove sorrow from life. That yoga will become remover of sorrow, dukkhaha. What are the things in self-discipline? Ahara and vihara. How much to eat, what to eat, when to eat, all those things being very disciplined. Vihara means exercise. Bhagwan is so practical, Bhagavad Gita. He says even if you are a spiritual seeker, you need a healthy body. For that you have to be moderate in exercise. How much to engage and how much to disengage. How much to engage, how much to disengage, in that also we need discipline. How much to sleep means when to rest and when not to rest. In that also we need discipline. Swapna avabodhasya. One who is able to do this, Bhagwan says that person will live a very happy life. Now we have to find our own ways, keep thinking on our own, how to bring about this tapasya. And we should not have some erroneous idea. One fine day, we will become tapasvis. Right now, let life go on. 2025, when kids graduate, high school they go to, or college they go to, after that, all tapasya will start. He said that day will never come. Shubhasya shighram. And Shreyamsi bahu vignani. You make an auspicious resolve, 100 different things will come to obstruct. What is the word we are discussing? Tapasvi. Sabapararama tapasvi raja. 28 Chaupayi. It is just stating a fact of life for us. और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे, सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे, सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे। श्री राम जय जय रामा, श्री राम जय जय रामा, जय रामा। और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे. Whoever comes to you with any manoratha. Manoratha simple meaning is desire. If you look at it from a Sanskritam standpoint, Ratha means chariot. Mana is mind. That thing which will make this mind sit on a chariot and run around. That is called as Manoratha. Manoratha means that desire which keeps us running all over the place. One who comes to Bhagwan even with such a desire, Hanuman Ji blesses him with that desire. Soi amita jivana phala pave. Blesses him with his desire and also with long life. Soi amita jivana phala pave. Now the question here is, somebody might ask, in Vedanta on one hand you keep saying, grow out of desires, don't have desires. Desires are the root of all samsara. Vivek Chudamani, so many examples are given. Vishayas are like visham. Bhagwan says, sense objects are like poison. He says it is worse than poison. Poison will hurt or take life away only when you drink it. He says Vishayas will harm even when you see it. So on one hand you criticize Vishayas like that, desires like that. On the other hand you say, Aura manoratha jo koi lave, sohi amita jivana phala pave. Here we should add one adjective. What a devotee brings in front of Bhagwan is only a noble desire. It is not some kind of adharmic desire. Such a desire, Bhagwan says, which is in line with dharma. I function through that person and help accomplish that desire. Dharma viruddho bhuteshu kamaha asmi bharatarshava. I am that force that functions when a desire is sattvic. Desire is dharmic. Now the question will be, what is a noble desire? Do you have a list? Noble desires and ignoble desires? He said there are some criteria. Criteria for a noble desire is, it should not come at the cost of somebody else's happiness. Desire should be, if at all there is a desire, it will fall under noble desire category if it is not coming at the cost of somebody else's happiness. Second criteria is, what are we going to do after fulfilling that desire? If the goal is to serve, if the goal is to do something noble, that desire also will fall under category of noble desire. Now you see, think about any desire that a person might have. Let's take a simple one. Buying a car. Is it noble desire or is it ignoble desire? He said, depends. First of all, it should not come at the cost of somebody else's happiness. And second is, what are we going to do after getting that object? If somebody says, I'm going to serve more, then that same desire is dharmic desire. Somebody says, I want to go further in my career, want to go higher in my position, want a promotion. What will you call that kind of desire? Depends upon how he is approaching it. My desire to go up should not come at the cost of somebody else's happiness. And what are we going to do after fulfilling that desire? If we make it as a metric for measuring ourselves or others, in our eyes or in their eyes, he says that desire will be ignoble desire. But if person is asking vruddhi of samarthya, these words are nice in Sanskritam only. Expansion of abilities. What is promotion? Vruddhi samarthya. Vruddhi of samarthya or samarthya vruddhi, increasing his ability for serving more. That desire will be dharmic desire. And our scriptures say, we don't have to tell people that you should have desire. He said desires are already there. Before you tell somebody to become desireless, our scriptures teach us how to manage desires. Especially when we are in the younger phase of life. There, if you tell somebody, be desireless, you say, anyway, I was planning to be that way only. Why work hard? Why go for a job? Why do this? 80% of our Vedas talk about fulfilling desires. Of course, they talk about Swarga, going to some other places. But our desires are here only. Meaning what? Through karma, fulfilling those desires. But as long as we ensure they are noble desires, and we take Bhagwan's help to fulfill those desires after they are fulfilled will not stay with us. Meaning, that sadhaka will grow out of that desire. That is Bhagwan's way of fulfilling desire. How he does it, it's up to him. Okay, more we will see in the next session. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.